Hey everybody, Tom from Deer and Donuts, and I'm here to bring you a little review on my hiking boots. Now, if you're new to the channel, you probably have no idea why I said it so weird, but if you're a seasoned vet, you know that just a couple weeks ago, Matt dropped a video about his crispy altitude GTXs. And it got me thinking, why haven't I talked about my boots? What I have here are a pair of Merrell Vego Mids. Now, I'm going to try and make this review very similar to Matt's. It's not a direct comparison because I've never used Crispy. I've never owned a pair, I've never worn a pair. Obviously, I can't speak for him. I don't believe he's ever worn a pair of Merrells. So I can't do a direct comparison, but I just want you guys to have a rough idea of the difference between what he's working with and what I'm working with. And I'll be completely honest with you, one of the big reasons is because the cost of this is significantly less than Matt's boots. So let's jump right in. Like I said, I'm going to do a pretty close comparison to what Matt did as far as some of the features and things that he talked about. But where I want to start first and go into that portion later is I want to talk about why I've enjoyed these boots. I've had them roughly 3 years, bought them right before we went to Colorado. It took a very short period of time to break them in. Did the elk hunt, put a ton of miles on them, went through some rough terrain. They're waterproof, so they held up really well during that point in time. Then they've gone to Montana. They've also gone to Arizona. Now, the big difference for me in a pair of boots compared to probably Matt and Scott is that I wear these almost year round. I don't hunt in these in Michigan because I have another set of boots, but I will actually talk a little bit about that in a minute. But I mow my yard, I do my yard work, shoveling, any type of activity where I need a good boot, I wear these. So they get worn probably once or twice a week. That's in the summer and springtime, a little bit in the fall. In the winter, when it starts to get rainy and snowy, I also wear them because they're waterproof. So even though these probably don't have as many hunts on them as Matt and Scott's boots might, I would imagine they have more days put on them because I will wear them as a regular shoe during certain times. And they've held up great. You can kind of see here, I'm getting a little bit of peeling from the toe. And I do have a little spot down here on the corner that's starting to come up on the sole, but they still are waterproof. They still go great through those Montana rivers that you saw us trek. And keeping good care of them in between hunts is probably what's kept them as good as they are. Now, let's jump into some of the comparisons between this Merrell Vego and Matt's Crispies. So one thing that Matt brought up is country of origin for boots. These are also not made in the USA. Some Merrell boots are. These particular ones are made in Vietnam. If that's a big deal for you, then I probably wouldn't go Merrell. If it's not, then I wouldn't really worry too much about it. The quality has been good. I've been really happy with them, so that's not something that's going to deter me completely. Color-wise, they have this espresso. They also have black. I picked espresso because brown matched a lot better with the terrain and everything that I use them for, as opposed to the black ones. Now, size-wise, these range anywhere from half sizes from 7 to 12, and then they have 13, 14, 15, and 16, I believe. So if you do have a bigger foot, but you're not an in-between size, there are some options there. These are 6-inch, not 8. So there's a little bit less stability side to side, like for your ankle, than there might be with Matt's Crispies. And one other thing, they don't come in a wide boot. They're not wider from side to side. So if you do have wider feet, maybe these are going to be a little bit rough for you. But for me, I've never had any issue with them. They fit like a standard shoe, and I think that's really great. As far as the weight goes, now Matt's ran about 3 pounds if memory serves. These here are 2.6, well, sorry, 2 pounds, 6 ounces. So a little less than 2.5 pounds. So a little bit lighter, probably because they're a little bit shorter. There's just less material in general. They are waterproof, and they do have odor control, which for anybody who's shared a tent with somebody after 10, 12 miles of hiking in a day, odor control can make a big difference. Matt, odor control. Now, let's get down to the thing that's the most important. Matt's boots, $350. These bad boys I found online just earlier today, anywhere from about 106 to 150. 150 was on Amazon, 106 was from a different website. So a lot more affordable than the Crispies. And honestly, for me, like I said, used a little bit differently. But for somebody who's maybe not going to be trekking through Arizona 5, 6, 7 times a year, I've even used these hiking as well. Keep in mind, a couple hikes on these in Arizona with Matt and Scott. But overall, they've been a very good boot. Now, I'm not telling you that these are the end-all be-all greatest boot of all time, because I don't have a big base to compare them to. I will say that overall I've been very happy. I would recommend them. I would probably get another pair just like these when these ones go out. But one thing I will talk about is something that Matt talked on. I do get hot spots every once in a while. Generally in this toe area here, most of the time, either going across a hill that's fairly steep or going down. But I've never had a blister in these, not one time. I think that really speaks to the quality and also the fit, because you're not moving so much and causing that friction like you might in some other boots. Matt touched on the insoles. I will agree the insoles could be better, but I haven't even replaced them. Probably now I should get to that point, get something that's a little bit more comfortable, because I'm getting older. Comfort's kind of a big deal to me now. But buying this right off of the shelf, there's not really anything bad that I can say about them. They've lasted 3 years as a hiking boot, as a hunting boot, and as almost an everyday use boot. And like I said, for the most part, I'm getting a little bit of the sole kind of coming up, but otherwise, since I've maintained them, I haven't had a single issue. And now a lot of Merrell boots come with the Vibram soles, which I think will even stand up a little bit better. I know Matt talked in the Crispy video about the sole stiffness. Merrell doesn't do anything like that, but I will agree that these are kind of middle of the line for what I would guess. I can feel a lot of what's underneath me, which is helpful when you're going up an incline, going down a decline, side to side, because you want to have good footing. But also, number two, not so thin that I step on a rock and I have a sharp pain in my foot. So they've been comfortable, they've been reliable. And yeah, I would totally go with these again. Now, I can't tell you to not use your hard-earned cash towards a pair of Crispies, because I bet they're fantastic. Matt always does good reviews. Matt tries a lot of different things out. He's got a lot of things to compare it to. If he says they're good, I agree they're good. But these are also good. And for the bargain guy like myself, you can't beat the value. I appreciate you stopping by. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the content. We'd like to see some more comments, see some more reviews that you'd like, or just even fun things for us to do. I'd like to get a month-long video of shooting my bow and go over some different techniques that I'm gonna try. Hopefully that's something you guys will enjoy seeing down the road. But as always, drop the likes, drop the comments, hit the subscribe button. We really appreciate it. Check us out on Instagram and TikTok as well, Deer and Donuts Outdoors. And for Deer and Donuts Outdoors, I'm Tom. Take care.